New shirt, new video, let's go. Some of my students, when taking the English portion of the ACT test, struggle because what they're looking for is what is right and wrong according to grammar and punctuation. And that's not what all of the questions on this English section are about. There's another type of question that's more about how well do you understand writing and what good writing looks like. Now there are 5 major tips I'm going to share with you today to really help you understand what they're looking for when they're asking for what is good writing. The first rule we call K.I.S.S, K-I-S-S, which stands for keep it simple, stupid. Now it's not always the case, but many times the shortest answer is the most correct answer. They're looking for what's concise and clear. Many of my students have the wrong assumption that better writing means lots of writing, and that's actually not true at all. Because a good writer doesn't go on and on and on. They make their point, they make it clearly, and they make it simple. If the extra words are not giving you extra information that are helping support the focus of the passage, then you don't need it. My second tip is redundancy. You don't want to repeat something over and over again. That's redundant. So be careful that you're also choosing options that cut out repetition. Because a good writer doesn't say the same thing twice, especially in the same paragraph or in the same sentence. For example, if you say, hey, wake me up at 7 a.m. in the morning, you're being redundant because in the morning means a.m. So 7 a.m. in the morning, you can cut one of those out. Hint number 3 is about being as focused as possible. When you look at the answers, and you'll notice that some answers are more specific and more clear, and other options are more vague, you want to pick the options that are the most clear, the most specific. Like for example, is it better to say society thinks or the debate team thinks? The best option of those, the most specific, the most focused, is the debate team. Now hint number 4 has to do with style. A writer's style is important. Some of these passages will be told in a formal, logical, clear style, while others might be lighthearted and cute. You want to use the same tone or the same style that's been used throughout, because a good writer doesn't jump from one mood to another mood to another mood in the same passage. Now, one big hint is many times the style questions will let you know right away that these are style questions. It will say something like, in sticking with the same mood, or the same tone, or the same style, which of these options would work best? Now, not all the style questions give you this hint first that this is going to be a style question, but many of them do. Now, my 5th hint is about transition words. You'll find many questions that deal with which of these transition words best fits the passage, or should I take the transition word out? Some transitions transition from 2 opposing ideas, while some transition from 2 similar ideas. Some might transition to different time, or some transition to an example. And you want to pay attention to the kind of transition word being used and what transition word is going to fit best. There are opposing transition words like however, or but, which is a fanboy, or even though. In opposing transitions, I transition from one attitude to a different attitude. For example, I might start positive and say, I love you, but you stink. I love you, however, you stink. I love you even though you stink. These are all transitions that go from one opposing idea to a different idea. Now, some transitions transition from similar ideas, like the word and, or this means that. I love you and you're special. I love you, this means that you're special. I love you, due to this, you're special. Now, one trick I want to teach you with transitions is that when there are 4 options on the ACT test, and let's say 3 of those options use opposing transitions, like however, or but, or even though, and one of those options is a similar transition, like this means that. When I look at those options for transition words, I'll notice in essentially 3 of those options are exactly the same and the other one is different. And I might want to take note, the one that's different is usually the one that's right. Some transitions help you transition through time, first, second, last. So pay attention to what happens before and after the transition so you'll know what type of transition word you're going to need. We're going to look at ACT questions that deal with this type of questioning. So the first question I found was question number 3 on this passage. And it said, the county cleared this path and paved it with packed gravel so they would have a peaceful place to hike and bike. So then I realized if all of these are grammatically correct, what I need to be looking for is, what would a better writer do? So my options are A, no change, B, change it to knowing they would have a peaceful place to hike and bike, C, change it to that they would have a peaceful place to hike and bike, or D, change it to so people would have a peaceful place to hike and bike. Now pause it and see if you can figure it out. Now I'm going to answer it with you. 3 of these responses have the word they in them. The fourth one is the one that's different, people. The reason it's different is because they is more vague and people is a little more specific. So they would have a peaceful place to hike and bike, or so that people would have a peaceful place to hike and bike. The most focused, the most specific is the word people. The next question, number 7, gives us a hint. It says if the author wants to keep the same positive and friendly attitude, what should they pick? And I look at the sentence, Luigi's motor moves slowly as we venture along the trail. Luigi's motor travels safely as we venture along the trail. Luigi's motor processes carefully as we venture along the trail. And Luigi's motor purrs softly as we venture along the trail. All of these are grammatically correct. So the thing I need to look for is what has the best style that matches a positive, friendly attitude. What do you think? Pause it and give your best guess. Looking at these options, I see a lot of these are formulaic and logical. Move slowly, travel safely, processes carefully. But the thing that's the most positive and friendly and cute is this option, purrs softly. Luigi's motor purrs softly. It gives it more personality. It makes it seem like a kitten. That's positive and friendly and adorable because kittens are adorable. The next question is for a different passage discussing the subway system in New York City. The next question states, the first train took 26 minutes to complete the route, which ran from City Hall to West 145th Street in under a half an hour. My options are A, don't change it, B, to change it to in completion of its route, C, in 26 minutes, D, delete it and end with a period. Let's go through and look at this sentence. The first train took 26 minutes to complete the route, which ran from City Hall to 145th Street in under a half an hour. Under half an hour is already mentioned in this passage when it says took 26 minutes. We don't want these same words in our sentence twice. That's redundant too. The best option here is D, delete it. Just say the first train took 26 minutes to complete the route which ran from City Hall to 145th Street, period. I'm hoping this video helped you understand how the production of writing works on ACT questions. In the next video, we're going to be looking at a bunch of ACT questions and determining is this a punctuation question, a grammar question, or a rhetorical question. It's important that you can determine what kind of question this is so you know, am I looking for a correct answer or better writing? These 5 hints are so important when you take the English portion of the test. So, practice.